Hey, welcome back to Slash Sisters. I'm Frog Sister Jen.
Well, if you're Frog Sister Jen, I guess that makes me Frog Sister Hallie, and if we're the Frog Sisters, we must be examining something.
I can't imagine what the Frog Sisters could be reviewing.
But we also want to welcome you back to our little brand of horror movie reviews by horror movie fans.
And if you're new here, we want to say welcome. We do fun horror stuff here, and we want you to keep coming back, so make sure you slash that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our new videos.
As you may have gathered by the outfits and the way that we introduced ourselves, that we are going to be talking about stylistic 80s film? I mean,
stylistically 80s. Like, I mean, I would say that this is like the quintessential like capsule of 80s.
I mean, Corey Haim's outfits definitely are.
Oh my gosh.
Fucking hell.
And everybody on the boardwalk, like, there's so much 80s about this movie. Seriously. With its stylish direction from Joel Shumacher, the nostalgia literally, like, spews itself all over the screen.
It really does.
And don't even get me started on the soundtrack with the lovely sounds. Literally sprinkled multiple times throughout the movie. Like, it is the theme of the movie, for sure.
Actually, it's the theme for the entire series, because there are 3 films in this series.
Yes.
The last 2 probably shouldn't have been made, but the sequel actually is pretty good.
Is it? I've never seen it. Or if I have, I don't remember it.
Honestly, the only thing that ties it together is Corey
the Frog Brothers, right? Yeah.
Corey Feldman's character.
Yeah, okay.
So let's go ahead and sink our fangs into this horror comedy classic, shall we?
Yep, I think we shall. Sink our fangs. We start our movie out on what is arguably the most beautiful hair I have ever seen in one scene. About 15 different gorgeous mullets grace our screen. With a group of men who are obviously causing a problem on the boardwalk of Santa Clara, California.
After being told to leave by the security guard, the boys leave. Shortly after, actually it's not shortly after,
Yeah,
it's like after everything is shutting down and everything. The security guard is seen walking to his car and an unseen force comes down from the sky carrying him and his car door. Well, the car door rips off and he drops it, but still.
Yeah.
But carrying the security guard away to God knows what fate lies for him.
For sure. Next, we meet brothers Michael and Sam, along with their mother Lucy, and their dog Nanook.
Nanook.
Cannot forget Nanook. Who are moving to Santa Clara to live with Lucy's dad after the divorce, after Lucy has divorced the boys' dad.
Well, we're assuming it's the boys' father.
Yeah, I assume. I don't know. Maybe she's been married multiple times. Who knows? But after a divorce, the kids and her are moving back in with her father,
which is just awkward.
Yeah,
because of
her dad is so weird, and I love him in the best way.
He's a taxidermist.
Yeah,
and he keeps giving the younger one stuffed shit in his room.
Poor Sam ends up with an entire closet full of taxidermied animals.
Talk about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That night, the boys and Lucy all go to the boardwalk where Lucy meets Max, the owner of a video store. Yes, the video rental stores, they did exist. I swear to God they did. I worked at one.
Swear to God they did.
I worked at one.
Yep.
Where he offers her a job.
Yep.
But he has other plans for her as well.
Yes, he does. Michael and Sam attend a concert on the boardwalk. And it's here that we get this incredible performance of the song I Still Believe by the greased up saxophonist Tim Capello, who actually still leans into that to this day. Like, that man still gets greased up and goes on screen.
I mean,
or on stage.
I understand it from his point of view. He took advantage of what little screen time that he had, and he made it his own.
He sure as hell did.
100%.
Man, but this is not only so we get this whole montage in the very beginning of the movie when they first show up in Santa Clara before they go to the concert, before they go out to the boardwalk. We get this whole montage to People Are Strange and it
which
literally
is not
shows,
the Doors version, by the way.
No, it's not. It's not. But it shows basically kind of the weirdness of Santa Clara and what what all is Santa Clara is about.
Right.
And we see in that montage lots and lots of missing posters as well. So, but yeah, so coupled with this scene where they're at the concert and literally just like everything is so incredibly 80s. Like, this scene especially, like, it's the one scene that super sticks out to me every time I think of this movie.
Michael looks across the crowd and spots a beautiful young woman and is completely and utterly enamored with her, and begins following her until he sees her join the group of mullet-headed
beauties.
No, they're not.
They're beautiful.
No, they're not, because mullets are fucking retarded.
I don't use that word.
I do. I'll bleep it out, whatever. Are led by David, played by Kiefer Sutherland, and one of his few horror film roles.
Yeah, he really hasn't done a whole lot of horror. Well, I mean, he has done a few.
Flatliners.
Yeah. Yeah, he did that one with the, was it called Mirrors?
Yeah. The first one, at least. The second one, he wasn't in.
Anyways, meanwhile, in the local comic book store, Sam meets brothers Edgar and Alan Frog, the pair of self-proclaimed vampire hunters.
And try to give him a copy of a comic book called Vampires Everywhere in an obvious attempt to warn Sam that there are vampires in Santa Clara.
Yeah, Sam brushes them off, though, and basically is just like, I don't like horror comics. Leave me alone.
But Sam does know about comics.
Yeah, for sure.
He drops a lot of knowledge on Superman and Batman comics in that scene.
Yeah, he even says, like, these don't belong with these ones. Like, what is wrong with you guys? Like, shouldn't you know better? Yeah, so... yeah.
The next night, the guys return to the boardwalk. This time, Michael sees the girl from the night before and introduces himself, finding out that the alluring woman is named Star.
As they're about to, after he's been kind of talking to her, they're about to go and take on a ride on Michael's bike, when David and the gang pull up and basically are just kind of like, Star, where do you think you're going? You know, like, you belong to us. But David challenges Michael to a race, sort of. He doesn't really, he says...
You don't have to beat me, Michael. You just have to try and keep up.
When the race ends, Michael is nearly driven off a cliff and challenges David to a fight because he feels that he was, lured into that trap.
Pretty much.
Just you! Come on! Just you!
Instead, they kind of laugh at him. And they take Michael back to their hideout, which is a luxury hotel which is sunken down into the ground because of the earthquake that happened in San Francisco in 1906. Yeah, but it's essentially kind of still intact, and there's lots of like elements from the hotel still down in this little...
I find it interesting, too, that I don't know if you noticed it, because it's in the background of the scene. There is a poster for Munsters Go Home.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So what's interesting about this little movie trivia here, Fred Gwynne played the original Herman Munster.
Okay.
But there was an attempt to relaunch the series, and... George Herman, the man who plays Max in this, was playing Herman Munster.
That's great. I mean, he would have been
he was. It was good. It didn't get the traction that they wanted. So honestly, every reboot that has been, with the exception of maybe Rob Zombie's, they're all shit. Anyway, after messing with Michael, making him imagine that he's eating maggots and worms.
Maggots, Michael. You're eating maggots. How do they taste?
Yeah.
David offers him a bottle to drink from. And I'm sorry, that is not fucking blood.
No, I know. It's definitely...
It's like Kool-Aid.
Yeah, for sure.
Kool-Aid.
It's like red. Star warns Michael that the bottle is... that what is in the bottle is blood, but he ignores her because they've been fucking with him, and he drinks from it anyways.
They take Michael to a bridge where they all hang off the side, each dropping off into the mist below the bridge. When Michael lets go, he floats down and lands on his bed, where he wakes up the next afternoon.
Yeah, really. At this point, Michael begins to kind of undergo a little bit of a transformation. His eyes become super sensitive to sunlight. The smell of food kind of revolts him. He tries to drink some milk and literally like drops the milk on the floor. Which,
by the way, did you notice the brand of the milk in that scene?
Oh no, I didn't.
Carnation.
Oh. Go figure.
Yeah. Carnation doesn't make milk anymore.
No.
They make canned, condensed, sweetened milk.
They do.
Not actual drinking milk anymore.
But did you also notice that on the side of that milk, though, was a
missing person?
Missing person for Laddie.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me in the least bit because that's what they did back then.
You know?
Definitely showing the age of this film with just that scene alone.
Like I said, it is a time capsule.
Right.
For sure.
He develops a craving for blood and attempts to attack his brother while he is taking a bath.
That bath scene is so funny.
But is stopped by Nanook.
Yeah. Ain't got a man. I love that scene so much. It's so silly and like, I'm sorry, what like 15-year-old boy is like taking a bath like that?
Apparently Corey Haim. Which, by the way, this actually launched the. This is the first movie that Corey Haim and Corey Feldman had done together, and they did like 4 or 5 more after this.
7. I looked it up a couple nights ago because I was wondering the same exact thing. Like, how many movies did they do together? I think it was like 6 or 7 movies that they did together, and they like became known as the two Coreys.
The Coreys, yeah.
And even to the point where they did a reality show, which actually was really, really sad to watch. I watched it because I was kind of obsessed with the Coreys. Anyways, but yeah, they did a reality show called The Two Coreys. So, and it was actually at the very end of Corey Haim's life that reality show.
I actually just watched like the last film that Corey Haim was ever in the other day, which
he
was
looked
kind
rough,
of,
didn't
he? He didn't look that rough, but he had a stupid ass fucking mullet.
I love it. Anyways, back to the movie. Sam is absolutely terrified when he sees Michael. I mean, Nanook bit Michael on the hand. And basically he's like, Michael, look at your reflection. And he's basically translucent, like he's see-through in the mirror.
Which I have a problem with this scene. I understand the technology at the time, you know, being what it is, the way they overlapped it and everything like that. But his reflection would only be translucent for his body, not his entire fucking wardrobe.
Right.
Honestly, they do that in a lot of vampire films. They really do. Like, the entire wardrobe for whoever the vampire is, looking in the mirror, there's nothing fucking there.
Right.
And that's it's not
like
possible.
Clothes would be normal.
Right. It's not
body would be transparent.
It's not the Invisible Man.
Yes.
It's the vampire.
Yes. Anyways.
Whatever.
But Michael convinces Sam that, like, he's not a vampire yet and that he needs his help.
Mm-hmm. But not before phoning the mother and freaking her
the fuck out, screaming. She like runs out of the restaurant before that. Like, I don't think she had even sat down at the table. She like full on runs out of the restaurant. Right. He like sees her leaving. He's like, what the fuck?
Right. Sam and the Frog Brothers figure out that as Michael has not yet killed, he is only half a vampire, which is why he's only translucent and not completely invisible. And his condition is reversible upon the head vampire's death.
Yeah. Comic books. I'm telling you.
I mean, you know, there are some truth to comic books.
Yeah, right. Sam and the Frog Brothers suspect that Max is the head vampire. But while Max is over, and basically, like, Max comes over for dinner, and...
But Max can't come in.
Right.
He has to have Michael invite him in.
Well, you're the man of the house, and I'm not coming in until you invite me.
You're invited.
Like, that's something that, like, you notice upon a second watch, but on the first watch, it seems like a really innocuous little thing that, like, just, you wouldn't really think that much of it.
Anybody that has knowledge of vampires notices it.
Exactly. So yeah, like, they have Max over for dinner, and then the Frog Brothers also come for dinner. They, like, try to put a bunch of garlic on his pasta. They throw holy water on him. They try to, put a mirror right in his face to try and, like, scare him or something and see if they can see his reflection.
I'm not trying to replace your father or steal your mother away from you. I would just like to be your friend, that's all.
But basically, like, all their little tricks don't prove that he is a vampire, so they kind of have to move on.
It bears to be the king. I mean, he's the head vampire. He's more powerful than anybody else. So.
Right.
David tries to provoke Michael into killing, but Michael repeatedly refuses. Star reveals that she and Laddie, the youngest vampire, which I'm sorry, that's just fucking terrible.
I know, what a name.
One, the name is terrible, but it's terrible that you have a child that is roughly 7 or 8 years old that is a fucking vampire that's going to live forever.
Yeah, I think that's, like, one of the saddest things. Like, it's one of the things that I really think is super sad about Interview with a Vampire. Kirsten Dunst's character in that movie is just it's heartbreaking.
But they reveal to Michael that they are both still human for mostly the part because they have yet to kill, and that David intended Michael to be Star's first kill, sealing her fate as a vampire.
Yeah.
Effectively making her the first lost girl.
Yes. Yeah, because they don't have any girls.
Nope.
Michael leads Sam and the Frog Brothers to the gang's lair during the day.
Hey, Grandpa! Is it okay if we borrow your car?
When they're asleep, which actually kind of like gives them a little bit of cover, kind of allows them, even though they are going into the lair. They impale one vampire, Marco, who is played by Alex Winter, who would go on to be
Bill S. Preston Esquire.
Yes, in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Just 2 years later.
He also played in Freaks as well.
Oh, okay.
With
nice.
Keanu Reeves.
Nice. That's
Keanu
awesome.
Reeves had a very small part in that as Dog Boy. Mr. T was the bearded lady.
Nice.
And Randy Quaid was the leader of the Freak Show.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was a 90s like camp comedy horror movie, but it was so much fun.
That's awesome. But when they kill him, you know,
it eventually wakes up the other vampires because it
was loud and violent.
I mean, you impale anybody, it's gonna wake the other people up that are sleeping nearby because
sure.
and whatever.
You did me!
The boys escape, and Michael rescues Star and Laddie, escaping in the daylight where the vampires cannot reach them.
Yeah, David tries to get to them,
but not before setting fire to David's hand.
Yes, exactly.
Which was
he reaches out into the sunlight, and his hand starts on fire.
Which for 1987, that was actually a really well done scene.
Yeah, for sure. Realizing that the gang is definitely gonna come for them as soon as night hits.
Oh, yeah. They done fucked up.
Yep, they're like, oh,
they
fuck.
they fathoed.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know what fatho means, is fuck around and find out.
Yeah. They sure did. They're about to find out. They about to find out. They arm themselves with holy water. They burst into a church and fill their squirt guns with holy water.
I think it's funny the bathtub.
Yeah.
The bathtub with garlic. And
they fill a bathtub with garlic and holy water. They get longbows and stakes and basically just barricade themselves inside the house, prepared for the oncoming attack.
Lucy leaves to go on a date with Max, and the boys trick Grandpa into thinking that he has a date as well with the Widow Johnson.
I think it's funny that her name is the Widow Johnson. I've always thought that was hilarious. Anyways, when night falls, David's gang attacks.
The Frog Brothers, Sam and Nanook, take out two of the gang while Michael and David battle each other.
Yeah.
And what is probably one of the greatest fight scenes
in
a vampire
They're
film.
flying through the house. It is fun. It is this whole end sequence of the film with the battle. I mean, it is so much fun to watch. David ends up being impaled on antlers of some sort.
Yeah, so the grandfather does taxidermy, and he had a deer's head mounted up that Michael impaled him on.
Yeah, he impales him on some deer antlers, and they realize that Michael, Star, and Laddie have not changed.
Nope.
So it makes them all realize that they have not figured out who the head vampire is.
But they have.
Yes, they have.
Lucy and Max return home from their date, and this is when we find out that Max is the head vampire. Dun, dun, dun. Saying the reason they could see his reflection was because he had been invited into the house.
Yeah. So I guess all the vampire rules don't exist anymore.
When you invite him in.
And also my other thing was I also kind of wondered why David and the boys were able to get into the house. Don't they have to be invited in? But I guess if you invite the head vampire in, that invites the whole clan.
Whole clan. That would be my assumption.
That was what I kind of assumed too. So Max tells them all that he's been looking for a mother for his lost boys.
I still want you, Lucy. I haven't changed my mind about that.
His lost boys are all dead now.
Yeah. And that Lucy was the perfect fit, so he had told David to turn Sam and Michael into vampires so that Lucy could no longer refuse to be transformed herself.
I mean, it's a good plan in theory.
Yeah, in theory.
Just as Max pulls Lucy to him, preparing to turn her into a vampire, Grandpa crashes his truck through the wall of the house, How did he know to do that?
I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he got to the widow Johnson's house and she was like, we weren't supposed to have a date. So he came back and saw some shit was going down. And he was like, I'm just going to crash into my house. I don't know. That man was bonkers.
Yeah, he truly was. Impaling Max on a wooden fence post, which makes him explode.
Yeah. Literally, like...
Psychos do not explode. I don't give a fuck how crazy they are.
Yeah.
Dust of Dawn reference.
For sure. Michael, Star, and Laddie then return to normal.
When Lucy, Michael, and Sam go to see if Grandpa is alright, he replies, one thing about living in Santa Clara I never could stomach.
All the damn vampires.
And that, my dear Slashaholics, is the end of the film.
So Grandpa knew that there were vampires living. The fuck?
Yeah.
And
like,
he didn't
should have
and
maybe given them a warning
them?
or something. I don't know. That's crazy.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
no. Don't bring your family here. There are vampires here.
People go
okay,
missing
Grandpa.
all the time. Yeah, right.
Okay.
Right.
Crazy
Okay,
old Grandpa with his
He
vampire
is pretty
stories.
bonkers. So I mean that makes sense. Maybe they wouldn't have believed him if he had told them that there's vampires.
I mean
there.
that's definitely a possibility.
Right,
I would have definitely been skeptical over anything
sure.
that
I'd be
you
like,
told me
okay,
about.
Grandpa,
Like, all right,
for sure.
right.
For me, this is a straight up Bloody Machete up. It is funny. It's I wouldn't call it scary, but it's definitely got some really cool
not
horror.
Scary, but as a vampire film, it has its moments where it could have been darker,
right?
In my opinion, and that's about the only thing that I can knock it for.
True.
Is it wasn't truly dark.
I think originally this was, with Richard Donner attached to, who was like the man behind the Goonies. Like they really, I think were going towards a younger fan base, or at least that was the plan with the Frog Brothers and Corey Haim's character Sam. It was very much supposed to be kind of like more geared towards a younger crowd, but then they focused a little bit more towards the older group and made it a little bit darker in that aspect. But
if they were gonna, if they wanted it really focused on teens, they should have made it PG-13.
Yeah.
Although I don't remember one F word
shift.
being dropped.
There was a shift. I don't either. There was a shift at some point where it did turn more towards like a more horror versus being comedy, in the vein of the Goonies and Monster Squad and things like that.
Goonies came after this though.
Right. No. Oh, it didn't.
Oh no, Goonies came out in '85, didn't it? Brain
Anyways, for me, it's a Bloody Machete up. It's like the perfect time capsule of the 80s. It's one of my favorite 80s movies. It's a Bloody Machete up for me.
I'm gonna give it a Bloody Machete up as well. I don't feel as enthusiastic about it as Jenny does, but it's definitely a worthwhile watch, especially if you've never seen it.
It's essential. It's essential horror viewing, for sure.
So with that, we are going to send this straight back to Santa Clara, where the vampires feast to their heart's content. Goddamn vampires.
Goddamn vampires. Well, what shall we do next, Hallie?
Well, I see that we have a movie that's getting ready to drop in the theaters that is a prequel to this film.
Well,
which, by the way, have you seen the trailers for it?
I have.
Thoughts?
We'll see.
Anyway, we're going to be taking this all the way back, setting the Wayback Machines to, I believe, 1976 on this one.
Me being like, we'll see. It's very much I don't always love when we do prequels, but sometimes they're done right. So we'll see.
But we are going to be examining the 1976 classic that is The Omen.
Yes, we're gonna go back down to the devil's side.
And we're not talking about Georgia.
No. So join us back here in 1 week's time when we will be talking about The Omen.
And be sure to go in theaters and see The Omen, the first
Omen is what it's called. Yes.
Yes, as well. And let us know what you think about that.
Yeah. Until then, we want you to slash the subscribe button.
Stab that like button.
And ringling the grave bell so you don't get buried alive and you stay up to date on all our new videos.
Until then, we will see you all
In the afterlife.